There's some pretty bad stuff going on in the world, if you haven't noticed right about now, and well, really bad in the way of international conflict, so much so that some people are saying maybe it's time for us to think about just exactly who's running the show. Nate Silver, don't forget Nate, he's kind of a big deal. He has come out with, well, this is the headline, by the way, this is the headline that you need to know about. Putin, of course, firing a rocket. America was made aware of this ahead of time, which is good, but this is kind of a problem. Nate Silver making this recommendation, or thought, I should say, online, he's relevant here because it was Nate that effectively put in place the dismantling of the candidacy of Joe Biden, because he started questioning it when he was looking at polls. He's like, look, I don't think this guy's going to win. Anyway, Nate said, quote, is there any particular reason to assume Biden is competent to be president right now? It's a very difficult job. It's a dangerous world, extremely high stakes decisions in Ukraine. He should resign and let Harris serve out the last 2 months. It's worth just noting because, you know, you can say this and a lot of people say things like this, but when Nate says it, a lot of Democrats take note. They certainly did last time. When Nate said, you know, maybe Biden ought to go and Kamala maybe should take over, that's exactly what happened. So you do have a lot of conflict going on right now. Of course, this situation heating up in Ukraine, and Zelenskyy giving an interview a short time ago to Fox News. I want to share a clip where he says, basically, it's all going to come down to America and he needs more money and more weapons, etc. Here we go.
What if the U.S. government cuts military funding to Ukraine?
If they will cut, I think we will lose. Of course, anyway, we will stay, we will fight. We have our production, but it's not enough to prevail. And I think it's not enough to survive. But that will be, if such choice will be American choice. So we will decide what we will have.
Okay, so a pretty blatant attempt there to say, hey, you know what, America, it's all up to you. We survive or don't survive based on you. So, as I said, very agitated situation, regardless of how you feel about this particular situation. You do want to make sure that you get some smart people in charge. And so a lot of people are saying, well, do we have that? I mean, here's Biden down in the Amazon.
Mr. President, happy early birthday!
Actually, this is Biden getting onto the plane. He doesn't seem to hear the reporter. Let's take a listen again. I mean, is it me or does she sound like kind of desperate? Mr. President, Mr. President. I realize she's trying to talk over the plane engines, but wow. Okay. And he just completely ignores her, totally ignores her. She's like, we haven't heard from you. We haven't heard from you. And there's kind of like some big stuff going on in the world, is there not? So there's that. And then there's the issue of Biden making people wait. So this is one of these photo ops at G20. These leaders had to wait for 5 whole minutes before Biden finally came. And then look at where they put him. He's like way over in the corner, for goodness sakes. But, you know, at least he made it. At least they waited for him this time, unlike the other day.
They're telling him to wait for Biden, guys. Oh my God. Do you see him, Joe? Far left. Left to the left of the palm tree. Oh my God. But they took it.
Didn't even wait. Times are changing. Okay, sorry, that was from my shorts feed. If you're not looking at the shorts feed, subscribe to that as well on YouTube. So anyway, look, they're not into him. Like at G20. Now, there's various reasons for that, but it is a little bit weird that we seem to be lacking so much in influence. He did do a little Q&A with reporters earlier in the week there in the Amazon. He's actually in Rio de Janeiro, but let's listen in.
It's no secret but I'm leaving office in January. I will leave my successor and my country in a strong foundation to build on if they choose to do so. It's true, some may seek to deny or delay the clean energy revolution that's underway in America. But nobody can reverse it. Nobody.
So clean energy revolution, that's still his signature thing. Of course, we may be on the precipice of some kind of World War III, but he's not getting into that, which again brings us back to the issue of, does he stay in the seat? I think it's very interesting that Nate Silver is putting this out at this particular time. So does Biden stay in the seat? Nate's asking, is there any particular reason why we're going to keep him there? I mean, I would say you wouldn't want to jump at getting rid of him. I mean, for goodness sakes, consider the alternative. But there's somebody who would very much like to have that position, one Kamala Harris. She must be very excited that Nate is tweeting out something like this at a time like this, with the thought being that she's the only one, I guess, who can come and deliver some kind of normalcy. I would just say I almost would rather have a very ill, very old, mentally unstable Biden than I would Kamala Harris. Is that fair to say? I mean, I really don't think she's capable of dealing with this. And it worries me in different ways if she were to come in. But there's talk now that she could potentially invoke the 25th Amendment. Imagine that. In other words, is he so bad that she would actually invoke the 25th Amendment? They want him to step down. That's being discussed over and over and over again. And Nate was meant to, I think, agitate or excite those rumors even more. So what, Kamala gets in and she's there for a few weeks so the Democrats can do what? I ask you. I guess they get their photo op and they get to say, hey, you know what? We had the first female president. Like, I guess if you want to claim that because you shoved her in, I mean, Biden wouldn't have picked her. Honestly, he would never have picked her. After what she did to him in 2020, the Democrat debate, upside one and down the other, saying, Biden, I really don't think you're a racist. Yeah, I mean, that was brutal. That was ugly. And he chose her anyway. Why? The party wanted her there. And then what happened? He got a little bit older. They thought he couldn't run and win. So they shoved him to the side and they put her at the top of the ticket and she lost spectacularly. I mean, he's got to kind of love it, right? Because he comes out a winner either way in that scenario. And he gets to say, look, I'm the only one who beat Trump. Hillary couldn't do it. Kamala couldn't do it. Guess who could? Joe Biden. So now they're going to try and muscle her in and put her at the top and give her the presidency of the United States. I don't think Americans are going to take that so well. I'm just saying. But Joe's up there, and we are in a difficult time. A reminder, make sure you subscribe to our Invest in MAGA guide. It's free for you. We created it for you. Investinmaga.com right now. You ought to understand what's going down. I mean, just an interesting aside. Rob and I were looking at Northrop Grumman and some other big military complex companies recently. And what we discovered was ever since we've gone into Ukraine, those companies, and it's over like a pretty significant time period, well over a decade, they have outpaced the S&P, even with the tech run up and everything that's going on in AI, et cetera. They have outpaced the S&P rather considerably. So a little bit strange, but worth understanding, worth knowing. So what are the next opportunities in this environment? Go to investinmaga.com.